Welcome to this look at a new-ish mod on Farming Simulator 22 with me, MrSealyp. Okay, this is for the John Deere S600 and S700 series by JHHG Modding. Why am I doing this separate? Well, the mod review yesterday for the 18th was so full of stuff, tons and tons of equipment. These were showing us updates, and I kind of read through briefly. As I was doing the mod review, it suddenly dawned on me, with everything set up, that the update to this mod, the John Deere S600 and S700 series, part of the update was console release. And at that point, I was hours into prep and setting up, and I thought, you know what, I'll just carry on what I'm doing and I'll do this separately. And I feel like I should do it separately because there's a load on these, ton of options, loads of details. These two are from the S600 series, and these two are from the S700 series. There are track options on all of them. I just kind of went for. I was kind of gradually trying to build up, really. Another thing I wanted to point out, something I've never done before when I've done harvester reviews, is putting crop into the harvesters. The only reason I did it was because there are an absolute load of different tank capacity options, which change across the range. And I couldn't remember which ones I'd picked. But here's the thing. When I filled this one up, I think with sorghum, the tyre deformation on those tyres, I mean, that just looks fantastic. Not something that if I'd have done the review normally, I would have picked up on, because I wouldn't necessarily have put crop in it. This one's got jewels on, row crops. There's a bit of tyre deformation, but not as much. So it's kind of, you know, it's indicative of how it works. One thing I'm going to say, I don't know if it's the map or the tracks, but the tracks on both of these have kind of sunk into the ground a little bit. So I'm not too sure. But again, the level of detail on these, wow, honestly, absolutely bonkers. And when I say there's a lot of options on these, get ready, there's quite a few. If we go to our harvesters and right to the very end, the S600 series ones are here and the S700 series ones are here. I'm going to start with the 600 series, which starts with this one right there, which is the S550 to S670 series, 162 grand for the base model. These are 31 slots for both of the 600s and 28 slots for both of the 700s, in case you were interested. I know some people often are. Now, options. We start off like this with a 7,080 litre grain tank. We can extend that with the tarp cover fixing, stays the same capacity. Tarp cover on top of that fixing, capacity stays the same. We can go with a factory foldable extension, which takes the capacity up to 10,600 litres. Big top foldable extension, 14,220 litres. We can go for a factory static, which has gaps around the edges, and you might see those. 10,600 litres. Then we go for full factory static, which blocks in those open panels. Same capacity, 10,600. Tarp cover fixing factory static. Capacity stays the same as the fixing. We can have the cover. Capacity stays the same. We can have the Maurer tip up factory static, 13,900 litres. Big top of that, 14,100 litres. We can go to the full Maurer tip up factory static. We can increase that to 14.1. Then we've got the Maurer XL, 16,200 litres. And the Harvest Master Windham takes up to 15,850. There's also a tip-up version of that on the Windham, which takes us to 19,380 litres. And then back to no again. I can't remember which one I went for, but we'll check the capacities. Then as far as tyre options go, we've got Continental, we've got Michelin, Mitas, and back to Continental. And the Continental, there's a whole lot of tyre options. I'm not going to read them all out, but we'll kind of go through them. We've got 650s, change of the rear tyre. We've got Transport 800s, and change of the rear tyre. We've got 800s, twins at the front, and a change to the rear tyre. We've then got the John Deere ATI tracks at 30 inches. ATI tracks at 36, the John Deere ones. Then we've got non-John Deere, these are just ATI tracks at 30 inches, black interiors, and 36-inch. Back to standard. Under the Michelin, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the options for all of these tracks and tyres are the same on all four, I think. So with the Michelins, we start on an F900 rear twin change. Then we go row crop F580s with a rear tyre change. Then we've got slightly larger rear and a change. Then 650s, rear tyre, 710s, rear tyre, Transport F800s, rear tyre, twin 800s. Then we go to the same thing, 30-inch John Deere tracks, 36-inch standard ATIs, 30 and 36-inch. Back to standard. Now under Mitas, we start on the F900, and then we go to the big boy. I think I have to have a rear on that as well. Then we go to the 1250, which is what I went for on the first one. That looks amazing, doesn't it? I love that. Change of the rear, then row crop 580s, change on the rear. Then we've got Transport 800s, 800s, twin at the front, change to the rear. Then we've got 30-inch tracks, 36-inch tracks, and then the blackened ones, 30 and 36. Back to our 900s. That's the tyre choices. Then we've got numbers. So if you're running a lot of these, we can number them up to 6 or no number at all, however you want to go about that. Then we've got the North American spec, which looks like this. There's not a lot of changes. They are subtle on this. If we go to the back and we change it to the Australian version, we get the oversized logo. I think everything else stays the same as far as I can tell on that. Then we've got the South American version, which takes that sticker off, but it puts a load of yellow decals down at the front here. If I go like that off and that. So that's North American, that's Australian. Then it changes a load of the decals to these yellow decals for the South American version. Then we've got rear hitches, no. And again, all of these options for the numbers, the specs, the South American, whatever, and the hitches, they're all exactly the same on all four. I'm not going to go through all of them on all four. They are the same on all four. The engine sizes will be a little bit different, so I will look at those. But on the back, we've got no hitch underneath. We've got, yes, a standard hitch, but that's going to require a very long trailer hitch to hook up to 6s right underneath. We've got the Lankota static extension, which sticks all out there. And then we've got the Lankota foldable hitch. Now, I've got one with foldable, and I can't work out how to unfold it. But that might just be me. Probably is. Then engine setup on the 550. We've got the 550 2014 at 271 horsepower. We've got the 650 2014 at 295 horsepower. We then go, actually this changes a little bit here, on the side panel above the flywheel. So if we then go to the 660, you notice that panel changes from that to that, a more rounded one. So the 660 2012, 660 2015, then the 670 2012, and the 670 2015. So side panels change, and obviously the horsepowers. We were on 295, so there's a 320, 373, and then we go back to the S550. So the highest you'll go on this one is a 373 horsepower. We've then got pipes, and again, the pipes are the same on all four versions. We've got a 5.6 metre pipe. We've got a 6.9 metre pipe. We've got a 6.9 metre foldable. We've got a 7.9 metre pipe. We've got the 7.9 pipe new, which has an extension kind of bolted. The sections are bolted on, but that's not foldable. We then got the 7.9 metre foldable. And then the 8.7. That's huge. 8.7 metre pipe. And then back to the 5.6. Rear axle, you can have standard and wide on all of them. For more hilly terrain, a bit more stability. Spreads the load. All that kind of lovely stuff. Then again, on the back of all of them, we've got a regular vane tailboard. We've got a standard. Or we've got the advanced powercast tailboard. Very fancy. And then we've got license plate options on there. So, that's the first one. Then we go to the S680, S690. Now, I think, as far as I could tell on this as well, the options for tank capacity, this one doesn't start at 7,080, this starts at 10,550, so we're already a little bit higher. Top covering, then we go up to 14,100 litre, factory foldable, 17,620, big top foldable, then 14,100 factory static, full factory static, tarp cover fixing, and then tarp cover, all those still stay the same. The Mara tip up factory static is 17,400 litres. We've then got the big top tip up at 17,629, the full Mara 17,400, the full big top 17,629. We've then got the Mara XL at 19,730, the Harvest Master Windham 19,380, then the tip up version 22,905 litres is the capacity that will go up to as a maximum. Like I say, I'm pretty sure Continental, Michelin, Mitas and back again, and I'm pretty sure the tyre options are all the same within all these, with the tracks and the tyre choices, I think on all of them, as far as I could tell. There may be a few tiny little changes, but again, you've got the 1250s on the Mitas, and yeah, so I think we're the same. Numbers the same, spec North American, Australian, or the South American is the same, rear hitches is the same, engines is where we're going to change. So, the S680, 2012, 473 horsepower, 2015, I just want to double check to see if that changes there as well. Yeah, 2012 is like that. 2015 is like that. Horsepower stays the same, 473. Then we go to the S690, 2012, 543 horsepower, 2015, 543 horsepower. But it changes the configuration ever so slightly. And then pipe options, exactly the same as we go through all of those, all the way up to the whopping 8.7. Axles the same, standard or rear, standard or wide, and the same thing with the tailboards, regular vane, standard or the advanced, then number plate. So that's the 600 series. Then with the S760, S770 series, a little bit more expensive. Like I say, the first ones were 31 slots. These are 28s for the first ones. Then the slot count comes down. So this one starts at a 7,080. It's interesting how the smaller versions on both of these go down a bit. I think it's more the horsepower things and a few bells and whistles, because the lower versions of the S700 and S600 have these smaller capacities. So again, the capacities are going to be the same as they were on the lower end S600. All the other options are the same. We kind of go through, if we go to the larger one on this, 19,380, same as the other one was, loads of different options on the cover. Tyre options and stuff are the same as we go through all of them onto the tracks. Oh yeah, that's one thing I will say on this one. Sorry, I should have said. On the Continentals, we've got these, the RWA S700 tracks. So the more triangular versions that we're kind of used to, I guess, on a 36-inch tread as well. And then we go to the ones that we've got on the other ones. Did I miss that option on the other? I don't think we didn't have that option on the other ones, did we? Pretty sure we didn't. So I take that back. There are some changes. I think it'll be the same on these. Yeah. So the triangular tracks 2. Numbers the same. Specifications the same. Hitch is the same. Engine setup. We've got the S670. There's no year ones on these, so that side section by the flywheel won't change on these. It stays the same. We've got the S760 at 387 horsepower, the S770 at 455. Pipe lengths are the same. Rear axle, standard or wide, and then the same with the vanes on the back too. And number plate option. I'm going to go back and check this. I'm just make sure I'm not going mad. Let's go to that track option. I didn't miss a track option, did I? 600s don't have the triangular track option. No, they don't. Okay, right. And then we move on to the last of them all, the S780, S790, the big boy, 216 grand. This one again, I think the largest top on this goes up to 22,905. All the other options, let's double check that as well then. Don't want to get it wrong. Yep, the triangular tracks are there. I completely missed that when I was setting these up. I would have put one of them on those. Sorry about that. And then again, all the other options exactly the same until we get to the engine size. 547 horsepower for the S780 and 625 horsepower for the S790. Absolutely lovely. Let's hop in, start one up, unfold. What I like about these, and it will get, I imagine it might get a little bit frustrating if you're trying to do something quickly, but it has a more realistic open and close speed. It's not like bomb, you know, really quick. It has that kind of, as you would expect. If we fold the harvester, oh, that's interesting. So now it's unfolded. I'm not going to do it anyway. Pipe out. I think I went for the short of 5.6 or 6.9 on this one. It might be the 6.9 on this one. Lights. There is a light on the side here, rather than have a light on the pipe. There is a light on the pipe. There is light on the pipe as well. I take that back. Although we have got the lights that come out the sides, which are actually perfect. But there is a light on the pipe too, so you can see above whatever you're doing to it. Beacons. Very nice. Horn. Beacons off. Lights off. What else? Oh yeah, as you can see, the panels are open. Same on all of them. The panels do the same thing. We'll go into this side first. L1 and right stick up and down. Opens and closes that panel. L1, R1, right stick up and down. Closes or opens that panel. Side to side, opens and closes that panel. So we do all those. They've all got the light stalks. The indicators are the nice kind of oval looking ones. If we do straw swath, at the moment it's on disable straw swath. Let's swing it around a bit. Look at that tyre deformation. Is that not just brilliant? Oh, I love that. It looks so good. And when you stop in and backing up, it feels weighty, you know? I don't know how to explain that. It just does. You know, if you've played the game for a while, it feels weighty. Because I've already got a saw, but seriously? So it has its pros and cons. It's going to take ages to unload that. Anyway, interior looks like this. On the, I say the door pillar, the window pillar, where all the screens are, if we turn the engine off, on all of these we have the start-up screens. They are slightly different depending on which one you're in. And then below the main monitor, we've got our say engine speed, but the speed on there, which as you accelerate will obviously go up and down. And when you put a header on it and turn it on, it goes up and down, as you know, as you would expect it to. Mirrors are good. There's no opening door on this, just the side panels. Turn that one off. I love that that sound when you turn it off. Just double check. This is the 17,629 litre. Can I change the straw swath on this one? No, I've got corner out there. They do look and sound brilliant. Again, panels will open and close. All our lights. Let's have a look at that central section. They do handle very well too. I just think all the detailing. I know we've got newer versions now, but that's another reason why I wanted to do the mod review. When I had a quick look at them off camera, the level of detail and stuff that's gone into them, they've just, as far as I was concerned, they deserve to be looked at. So the S760, I think it was the larger one, the S790. I went for the very longest pipe. the largest capacity. I mean, you're going to get away with some really big headers on these as well. Listen to that, it turns off. Love that. Then the last one. We should be able to on this one. We've got wheat in it. Please let me. There we go. We got there in the end. It's a nice, steady, smooth animation. Like I say, a bit more realistic, I think. More realistic speed on that. Huge pipe on this one. This one, 22,905 litres. Very, very nice indeed. I'm trying to think, I mean, I say, other than the panels that open and close, which they do on all of them. And the capacities, once you kind of get them out in the fields, obviously, as we go up the various different ones, we've got, you know, much smaller lower horsepower on the smaller one, and then working our way up to the much higher horsepower on this one. But they'll all do the job. They'll certainly get it done. There you go. Yeah, I think they look great. Anyway, that being said, lovely mods, lovely details, loads of options. Just nice to have a look at them kind of in the flesh, so to speak, and listen to the sounds and look at the animations. Hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.